15, I think.
41-15.
Who would like?
Okay, good afternoon everyone and welcome to Blankenheim for this media conference with Captain Harry Kane. As ever, if we can keep questions to a minimum of 3 per person so we can get around as many of you as possible, and we will have a short section embargoed at the end. So Rob Dorset, do you want to get us underway first?
Hi Harry, good to see you. Look, England are on the verge of qualifying. Unbeaten so far, I think by your own admission, not firing on all cylinders quite yet. Only win this game against Slovenia, but the knockouts.
Yeah, I think momentum's the right word. I think, you know, if before the tournament, if you would have said, you know, where we are now, you'd pretty much be qualified after 2 games, you know, we would have took it for sure. But I think, yeah, look, we can be honest with ourselves that we haven't played the way we've wanted to play. I think the good sign is that we've still picked up results whilst doing that. But yeah, I think Tuesday is important just for the feeling of the group. Of course, we want to finish top as well and just kind of take that momentum into the knockout stages. So yeah, and just, you know, just for more all round, just, you know, have a better feeling coming off the pitch and yeah, hopefully take that for the rest of the tournament.
The calmness amongst you guys is very, very obvious. I mean, you've been there and seen it and done it all in major tournaments. But I think there's a feeling amongst us guys in the media and maybe amongst the fans that there are more problems to solve maybe than we've seen in other tournaments under Gareth. What do you make of that yourself? Do you think there have been more issues coming into the tournament and maybe more that you're still trying to work out?
Well, I think, yeah, maybe leading up into the tournament, there was, you know, situations, especially with probably fitness towards the back end of the season for quite a lot of players. And, you know, even in the selection that the manager had to choose between players who were injured and not quite fit. So, yeah, maybe leading up, there's been a bit of a difference. I think, yeah, in the past 2 tournaments especially, you know, we've been on the same amount of points, the same kind of, we won the first, we drew the second. But, yeah, I don't think we played well in the Denmark game. I think we dropped below what we know we can. But, yeah, overall, I think, you know, we are calm. We have been here before. We've got a lot of experience, you know. So it's not a time to panic, of course, but it's a time to obviously try and improve. And I think, yeah, for me, I think always in these tournaments, especially these early stages, it's almost, you know, I love my other sports. It's almost like a boxer in the first couple of rounds, just seeing where everyone's at, seeing how you feel. Or a golfer in a major tournament, just kind of, okay, it's the first round. You don't play yourself out the tournament, just be calm. And that's kind of where, I think, where we're at. You know, we're looking where we can improve. And of course, we know we can improve, but it's not a time to panic and think we need to change everything and change loads of stuff. We just need to, you know, a few fine details that I think will help us.
We've talked a lot about your fitness.
Yeah.
How fit are you at the moment? And the crucial question for me, I think, is do you feel you're able to play in all of these games out here with England at the level you would want to be able to? Yeah,
I do. I think, yeah, I spoke before the tournament, and of course we said about the preparation leading up to it, I thought was pretty good for me personally. And even the games in the tournament, you know, the first game, I felt as fit as I have all season. And of course, I know I come off in the second game, but that was down to the manager wanting to see different and maybe freshen up the front players especially. So from my point of view, I'm fit. I'm, you know, getting better and better each game and fitter each game. And I've spoken in previous tournaments about the same thing, about, you know, trying to make sure you're coming into your peak towards the most important part of the tournament, which is the knockout. So as always, time will tell. You know, if we get knocked out, then of course there'll be a lot of questions asked. But I think, you know, from my point of view, it's important that going into this knockout stage, you're feeling 100%, and I feel I'm there.
Hi, Harry.
Hi.
What's the talk been like among the players after the first 2 games, and what have you been working on since the Denmark match?
Yeah, the talk's been pretty much kind of what we spoke about, you know, just to be calm. Yeah, we're in a good place, even though we know we haven't quite reached the levels that we can. But yeah, it's been pretty much how it always is. You know, the lads get on very well. We had a bit of time with the families, which is great. There's always that stage of the tournament where, you know, you're just starting to miss your families a little bit and miss the kids. So it was great to see them the day after the game. yeah, we've been trained yesterday, trained today, obviously on the stuff preparing for the game on Tuesday. And yeah, like I just said, just touching on the fine details and the things that we feel like we can improve. And watching back the games, we know there's areas that I think will really help us.
There's been lots of talk after the game, as you can imagine. But have you seen or heard any of the criticism about your own performance? And if you have, what have you made of it?
Yeah, I mean, I try and stay off it as much as possible. I think it's almost impossible not to see some stuff nowadays with all the different platforms. But yeah, I think me as a player, you know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I know when major tournament football's on, it's going to be even heightened, and you know, every performance is going to be scrutinised. And yeah, if I'm honest with myself, have I played the best that I know I can? No, but you know, I didn't score in the group stage in the World Cup. I didn't score in the group stage in the Euros. So from my point of view, it's a bonus to be one goal ahead. But yeah, you know, I'd always judge myself first, and of course I know I can play better, as I know, you know, a lot of the players think the same in the team, that we can all play a little bit better. And yeah, and that's what I do. You know, I don't panic. I don't get, like, you know, too high or too low. I'll keep doing what I do, and yeah, just go on to the next one.
And after the Denmark match, Gareth Southgate said that the team aren't able to press how they'd like because of the physical condition. What's that like for you to deal with? Is it frustrating? Are you feeling a big difference when you're out there? No,
I just think I think both games playing against the back three just maybe caused us a little bit of confusion on the pitch. You know, we prepared for the game, but then yeah, I just think there was certain things where we couldn't quite get the pressure that we wanted, and we weren't 100% sure on of when to go, and it's hard when you're playing against good teams. Sometimes when the momentum goes against you, you struggle to kind of get it back, and then I don't think we were great with the ball, which then led to, you know, feeling like you're just running and constantly running, and then so it was tough to kind of turn that momentum around. So yeah, I think in the next game it'll maybe pose a different threat because of the formation. It's more likely going to be different from Slovenia. So yeah, hopefully we can show a bit more energy and a bit more yeah, enthusiasm, especially without the ball, and I think that will help us with the ball as well.
Harry, hi. In 28 of your Bundesliga 32 games that you played this season, you played all 90 minutes. 9 of your 12 Champions League games, you played all 90 minutes. Is there any concern about that catching up? And are you always happy to finish games? Is that in your nature?
Yeah, I think so. I'm always someone who's, you know, always put as much as I can into the game, and you know, a lot of my career I've played the full 90 minutes. But as always, the decision's always with the manager. You know, I'll give everything I have for however long I play, and if it's 70 minutes, if it's 90 minutes, if it's extra time, you know, I physically feel more than capable of doing any of that. I've done that my whole career, like you just said there. I've done that for pretty much the whole season as well. So yeah, I'm feeling fresh. I'm feeling fit. I know sometimes when, you know, in my experience, when I've had, you know, bad games or games not up to the standard, there's always something to look for and find a reason why. But sometimes it's just, that's the game. You know, it's 1 or 2 games. If this was in a league season, no one's really talking about it because it's in, you know, a small, heightened environment. Of course, there's more chatter. So the important thing is that, you know, from me personally, I feel fit, I feel ready, and I'll play as long as the manager wants me to play.
Is it a different challenge when you're having to press against 3 at the back?
I think it poses a different challenge just tactically on who's pressing what player, and I think in both games, you know, they dropped midfielders into that kind of back three as well, and it was kind of, yeah, it was just that who goes at what moment, and I just think we didn't quite have yeah, the right solutions at the time, and I think that's all part of improving. You know, there's more likely a chance we're going to come up against that formation again, and I think that's where it's really important to go away and look at the images, look at the video, see where we can improve for next time. And yeah, and like I said, I think Tuesday will be a little bit different just from a tactically point of view anyway, but yeah, hopefully we can just bring a bit more energy, and you know, I know that's what, you know, the crowd love and the fans love, to get them off their seat, and we're more than capable of doing that.
Thanks. Go Faye next.
Hi, Harry.
Hi.
You're okay. There've been a couple of reports around that you called a player summit on Friday morning after the game. Can you confirm if that's the case, and what was the purpose of it?
No, that didn't happen. So I'm not sure where that's come from. I think again, probably just people trying to maybe create something out of nothing really. The day after the game was just a small debrief that we always do from the manager, and then it was just a family day. We had 7 hours with the family, which I'm not sure all the lads were quite happy about. After a few hours, it was pretty hectic, to be fair. So we might cut that down in the future. But no, that's what it was, and I think it was an important day just to kind of switch the minds off. We've done well in the tournament so far, 4 points after 2 games, but in this sort of environment, you need a chance just to switch off, and that's what that day was for.
You talked about your fitness, but are you having to play a slightly different game at the moment as well? Wayne Rooney wrote in the Times the other day that actually perhaps the form from you in the past couple of games isn't necessarily your fault. You're just not getting the service in. Are you having, because of the adjustments that Gareth Southgate's had to make, are you having to adjust your game as well?
Well, I think I always talk about, from me personally, as you know, I like some games I'll stay high, some games I'll drop in. I think just as a team, we're just finding that fluid nature. We're just that we haven't quite clicked right in the first 2 games, if we're being honest. But we're all at the very top of our game. We're all at a high level, and I think just as we train more, as we play more, that should only progress and get better. So as always, I'll try and adapt to the game situation and how the other team play and what suits me, what suits my role, I guess, as the number 9. But I think most importantly, there's been a lot of talk without the ball, but I think with the ball, we just need to be better. We need to keep it better. We need to play a little bit higher when we're kind of in those areas building up. We need to get in between the lines a little bit more, and that will come. And like I said, time will tell. Of course, we have to go out there and prove it in the matches, and hopefully we can do that on Tuesday.
Just finally, what's the message to the fans, particularly the ones out here in Germany? There were boos after that Denmark performance. Are you urging them to be patient, calm? What's your message to them?
Yeah, I think calm is the most important one. A lot of us have been here and done that, and we've given England fans, some fantastic times. And, I know 99% of the fans are, fully behind us and fully with us. But as always, during the tournament, just to support us, as they always do, and I know they will. And then after the tournament, you can judge us. I always say, when it's finished, there'll be people judging us. We've had some good tournaments. We've had some tournaments where, we've just fallen short. But, during it, it's down to us as players, as coaching staff, as the whole environment to get it right and find where we can improve. And, of course, people will have their opinions, and that's no problem. But ultimately, it's going to be us who makes the decisions and to try and find the solution.
Thanks again, David, and then Kieran next.
Hi, Eric, Davide from Italy here. You said yourself that you guys haven't played at the level you wanted to. Why do you think that happened?
Yeah, I think I touched on it a little bit. I just think, we've just we've definitely been a bit loose with the ball compared to how we've been in recent years. And then that's caused, a lot of time, probably more time than what we used to spend without the ball. And like I touched on there, I don't think we've quite got the pressure right and also the intensity right. We haven't pressed with enough, energy, enthusiasm, which will need to change going forward. So, that's down. Like I said, that's down to us now to find a solution. It's not a time to panic and feel like we need to change, everything that we've built over all these years. It's just like I touched on in all sports, in all different things, you find what's working, what needs improving, and then you try and implement that into the next game plan.
You've been to major tournaments before. Maybe the difference this time is that you have massive expectations on you that probably you guys didn't have in the previous tournaments. How do you see expectations and the way people expect you to play and to perform?
Yeah, I think that's part and parcel of what we've created as a squad. To be honest, the bottom line is we're trying to achieve something as an England team that we've never achieved in our history. So it's very tough, and that is European football. That's playing in these championships is difficult. So we've come close, and we've been the closest in recent history. So we know how to get it done, but we also know there's a lot of hard work along the way. You're playing against a lot of good teams, and it's going to be difficult. And there's times where you're going to have to grind. You're going to have to defend, like we've defended really well in the 2 games. I know a lot of people have been talking about what we haven't done well, but what we have done well is, defend the box well, block crosses, block shots, and that's an important part of winning games as well. So we're going to need all of it, of course, to improve the parts I spoke about. But if we can do that, then yeah, step by step, I think we have a good chance.
And finally, for me, you said 1 goal for you is a plus compared to previous tournaments. But overall, about your performance, how do you think you have performed so far?
Yeah, I touched on earlier. Not as good as I'd wanted to perform, for sure. But yeah, that's happened at various stages in my career for club and for country. Yeah, and I think always, it's never about the individual in a team sport. It's always about, okay, what can we all do to try and improve and get better? And I think that's where we're at. Of course, everyone looks at themselves first after every game. Every player's watching their clips to see what they've done well, what they didn't do well. And that's always the mindset we've had. And then, we speak as a group, and as we do with the debriefs and looking to the next game. And it's like, okay, how can we improve? And that's no different for me.
Can we go Kieran here and then yourself?
Hi, Harry. We're not used to seeing you come off in a situation where England need to score a goal. So in the game against Denmark, when you saw your number go up, how did you feel in that moment? And does that motivate you more to sort of show the real Harry Kane in the coming game?
Yeah, well, look, it's not the first time it's happened either. It happened in the Scotland game in the last Euros when it was 0-0. So, yeah, like I always say, that the manager will make the best decisions for what he feels in that moment for the team. As a player, as the captain, you have to accept that, whether you agree with that or not. In that moment, he felt like the team needed fresh legs in the attacking areas, and so be it. Now my job is to support the team from the bench and to try and help as much as possible in those moments. So, of course, I'm a player who wants to play every minute, and because I always feel like it's a chance to score in the last minute. But also, the England manager's got a tough job. We've got a lot of great players who, he has to make decisions for, and I'd always support that.
You mentioned earlier that you can sometimes play higher and sometimes come deeper. In the first game in particular, especially in the first half, it seemed like you were playing higher. Was that a particular tactical instruction or something you just kind of saw in the game?
Yeah, that's probably just what I saw in the game. I think, especially in that first half of that Serbia game, Jude especially, Phil, were kind of getting into those number 10 areas and causing them quite a lot of problems, especially the first half hour of that game. So I felt like, because they wanted to defend man for man, if I could stretch them a little bit higher and stay a little bit higher, that space will be bigger for them. Yeah, but as always, with me personally, I've had it for sure over the last 4 or 5 years. If I stay too high and I don't touch the ball, I should drop deep and be involved. And if I drop deep and get involved, I should be in the box to score. So that's part and parcel of being who I am and being a number 9 who likes to do both roles. But yeah, overall, each game, we talk about it as a team, and that's how the manager wants to play, and then also it comes down to your instincts on the pitch as well.
Just finally, for me, 4 points might get you through as it is, but how important is it to win the group and potentially avoid a clash with Germany in the last 16?
Yeah, we definitely want to win the group. I don't think it's just to avoid anyone. Of course, Germany have had a fantastic start to the tournament, but I think it's more just, as we touched on earlier, the momentum that it will give us going into the knockout stages. Of course, people expected us to finish top. We expect to finish top in the position we're in now, especially. But yeah, if we don't, it's not a panic, as we always say. But yeah, I think we do want to go out there Tuesday and put a marker down and yeah, hopefully take that for the rest of the tournament.
Hello, Harry. I'm journalist from the local German broadcast channel, MDR Jump, so excuse my bad English. We are very glad to have high-quality football here in Thuringia during the Euro 2024, because normally we have in Thuringia not even professional football. Here's nothing in that thing, and we are very glad to have you here. Do you enjoy it? Do you enjoy the surrounding, the landscape? And if yes, could you imagine to move here one day? Do you want to stay? We have a 7th division team. You may heard of it, SG Lauscher Neuhaus. They had a contract offer for you. You get free Thüringer Rostbratwurst, all you can eat, free drinks in every bar, and Mindestlohn. And you would have much more time for the national team. So if you want, I have your jersey here. You can take it. Do you want it?
It's very well prepared. I'll have to talk. I'll have to talk to my agent and see what we can do. But you have good golf courses. I mean, the golf course we're staying on is fantastic. So yeah, it's not a bad plus. But no, it's been great. You know, the reception I've had, not just here, but in the whole of Germany, has been incredible. I think you know, since I moved to Bayern Munich, I've added a lot of supporters to me, and you know, yeah, every hotel we've been to so far, and just around the stadiums, everything, the support has been amazing. So you know, I just want to say thank you for that, and yeah, I don't know if it's on my mind to move here one day, but no, we appreciate, you know, yeah, you guys hosting us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for us, like I said, and maybe you can sign the jersey later. So you're the first real footballer to enter Thuringia, and it's great for us. Thank you.
No problem, no worries.
Okay, we'll go Jerry, Ewan, and then we'll finish here with Eric.
Hi, Harry. Good luck for the match.
Thank you.
You said a lot. Don't panic. Has been a message that's come across. There's a lot of young players in the squad who haven't got the experience you've got. Is this something that you personally, as captain, is that the message you're personally giving it to them?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's part of the environment that we set as well. I think, like I touched on, everyone gets on really well. Everyone's always talking to each other, whether that's, you know, playing darts or playing Uno or just with each other on the coach or whatever it may be. We have a good environment where, you know, everyone talks honestly and openly, and yeah, I think whenever, you know, you're talking in meetings or the manager's talking or Steve's talking, you know, there's always good messages and messages that we've had throughout the years, and that's a big one. You know, it's the reality of where we are, and that's 4 points after 2 games, which is, you know, a decent start. And then there's obviously knowing that we can improve and get better. And yeah, I think for the newer players or the younger players, that's just kind of the environment they're in, and I think they catch on to that pretty quick.
Excellent. In terms of 7 hours with the family, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, the hotel's fantastic. You know, full credit to the guys and girls and from the FA of putting everything on. And yeah, we had a bit of everything in there. You know, we got kind of the golf simulator, the football. We had, you know, burger trucks. We had bouncy castles. Everything. You know, it was just a really good day, and it was a good chance for, you know, some of the families who ain't really met, or for the players to meet some of the other players' kids, etc. Because you hear about them, but obviously you don't always get to meet them. So yeah, I think we've done a really good job at that in not just this tournament, but other tournaments as well. Just yeah, making sure you have time to switch off and be with them, because they're, you know, a huge part, and of course you do miss them during long spells away. So yeah, it was a fun day, just maybe a little bit too long.
And finally, I don't know if you heard his podcast, but Gary Lineker had a word to describe England's performance in his podcast. Do you think it's helpful for somebody like him to describe it as shit on the eve of such a big game, particularly when you're top of the group with 4 points? And do you think maybe you should stick to flogging crisps?
No, look, I think it's always, you know, I'd never want to be, you know, disrespectful to any player, especially, you know, a player who's worn the shirt and knows what it's like to play for England. But of course, I think what maybe ex-players or ex-players who are pundits now have got to realise is that it's very hard not to listen to it now, especially for some players who are not used to it, or some players who are new to the environment. So yeah, I always feel like they have a responsibility. I know they've got to be honest and give their opinion, but also they have a responsibility of being an ex-player, an ex-England player that a lot of players looked up to, that, you know, people do care about what they say, and people do listen to them. So like I touched on, everyone's got their opinion, but the bottom line is we haven't won nothing as a nation for a long, long time, and, you know, a lot of these players were part of that as well, and they know how tough it is. So it's not digging anyone out, but it's just the reality that, you know, they do know that it's tough to play in these major tournaments and tough to play for England. But yeah, look, I'd never disrespect any ex-player. All I'd say is just, you know, remember what it was like to wear the shirt, and that their words are listened to, and you know, some of the lads, or I don't know how many of the lads, but, you know, you do hear it, and we all want to win a major tournament. I'm sure they want us to win a major tournament, and yeah, being as helpful as they can and building the lads up with confidence would be a much better way of going about it.
Thanks very much. Good luck.
Thanks, Jerry. A few quick ones then, Ewan, and then we'll finish with Eric from Build. Just to your left-hand side there.
Hi, Harry.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask a bit more on that triple subs, where I know you covered that already, but did that show a different side to Gareth maybe that we haven't seen before to make such a sort of strong change at that point in the match?
Well, I don't know. I think, like I touched on there, I remember in the Euros, he'd done a similar thing against Scotland. I come off in the first game against Croatia in the Euros as well. So I don't think it's anything new. I think it's something that, you know, the manager will make the right decision for the team. And I think he's proven that, over his whole time as the England manager. So, sometimes, you know, you can read into things a little bit too much. There's players who are training really well. There's players who are, you know, itching to get on the pitch, and that's part and parcel of major tournament football. There's going to be some players that don't play. There's going to be some players that come on, and you know, the team that starts the first game is not always the team that ends up starting the games later on in the competition. So like I said, I wouldn't read too much into it. It might happen again. It might not. The manager, each game is different. Him and Steve and the staff will just try and make the best decisions in those moments.
I know you've talked a bit about dropping deep versus staying further up, but what's it been like? How's your role changed with having guys like Saka, Bellingham, Foden, Trent behind you? Does that sort of change your role, having that level of talent?
I'm not too sure. I think obviously I've played with those players for quite a long time now with England. Obviously, I feel like I've got a good relationship with all of those players. We just probably haven't, you know, done well enough in the 2 games to show it yet. But I think, you know, especially in past tournaments, in qualifying, we've shown what we can do when we're all on the same page. But again, it's a game of football. You're not always going to be perfect. You're not always going to get it right. You're not always going to, you know, be switched on in every moment of every game. But I think with all of the players and all of us, you know, we try and work on it. We try and train on it. We try and see, okay, he's doing this, can this help him? And we all try and help each other. And we're all fantastic players. So it's just about, you know, how can we get the best out of everyone. And I think that's what we all try and do.
Cheers. And finish, Eric.
Nice. Hi, Harry. Eric Peters, Build Germany. So how important is it for you to feel supported by your family during the Euros, especially when there is a lot of criticism?
Yeah, I think family and friends are, you know, really important. Just to, of course, they always support you. They always back you. But they're a big part of your life. Of course, during a normal season, you get to go home. You see them every day, and of course, you go away for away games. But it's never normally longer than a couple of days that you don't see them for. And tournament football is different. You know, you have to spend a lot of time away from them, which is not easy, especially with young kids. A lot of the lads have got young kids, and you miss them. But you know, that's a sacrifice we make, and you make to play in these tournaments. And I think you try and keep in touch as much as possible. I always talk about, you know, making sure you have people to talk to, and family are a big part of that. And I mean, I'm lucky enough to have great people around me, and they're always there to support me.
Then a question regarding your club, Bayern Munich. So how do you see the signing of Vincent Kompany as your new manager? And has there been any contact so far?
Yeah, so he phoned me, you know, after it got announced, and just more to catch up and introduce himself. Obviously, before the tournament, he knows I'm focused on England and focused on the Euros, but he just wanted to reach out and kind of ask my opinion on kind of last season and how I've felt since I've been here. And he just gave me a bit of background on, you know, what he liked to do and how he likes to play. And it was only a short 10-minute conversation, but it's more just an introduction. So I mean, of course, at the moment I'm focused on England, but I'm sure once I'm back at Bayern, it'll be great to start the pre-season and get some new ideas from him and see how he wants to play and see his vision for the season ahead. And as always, I'm always learning from different coaches, different managers, and I'm sure I will from him as well.